Buddhist secrets have been around for centuries, offering profound insights that can transform our perspectives and behaviors. These aren't just ancient philosophies confined to temples or distant lands. They're living, breathing practices that have the power to reshape our everyday lives. At their core, these teachings remind us that happiness, peace, and clarity aren't found in external circumstances, but cultivated within. They encourage us to shift our mindset, deepen our awareness, and realign ourselves with values that foster genuine well-being. Through understanding and embracing these secrets, we are invited into a new relationship with life, one rooted in mindfulness, compassion, and the realization that the present moment is our truest source of power. Modern life can be relentless. We're constantly surrounded by noise, deadlines, and distractions. In this race to keep up, many of us have lost touch with ourselves. Our minds jump from one worry to another, thinking about what we didn't do yesterday or what might go wrong tomorrow. The pressure to succeed, to be accepted, to always be on creates a silent suffering within. We numb this inner disquiet with busyness, entertainment, or social validation, hoping that the next achievement, the next possession, or the next vacation will finally bring peace. But deep within, there's a quiet longing for stillness, for meaning, for a sense of being truly alive. Buddhist wisdom directly addresses this ache. It doesn't promise a life free of pain, but it does offer a path to navigate life's storms with grace, dignity, and inner calm. One of the most transformative principles in Buddhism is mindfulness, being fully present with what is. In a world that encourages multitasking and constant forward movement, mindfulness calls us back to now. It teaches us to observe our thoughts and emotions without getting entangled in them. Instead of reacting impulsively, we learn to respond with awareness. Imagine walking through your day fully present, not lost in your phone, not rushing to the next moment, but actually seeing, hearing, and feeling the richness of each experience. The simple act of breathing becomes a gateway to serenity. Eating a meal becomes a ritual of gratitude. A walk in nature becomes a profound meditation. Over time, mindfulness doesn't just reduce stress. It reawakens our ability to live deeply and meaningfully. Closely tied to mindfulness is the Buddhist concept of impermanence. This truth, that everything is constantly changing, can feel unsettling at first. We want things to last. Relationships, health, happiness. But clinging to permanence in a changing world is the root of much suffering. When we accept impermanence, we begin to appreciate the beauty of each moment. The laughter of a loved one, the bloom of a flower, the warmth of sunlight on our skin, all become precious when we realize they won't last forever. Rather than taking things for granted, we cherish them. And when challenges arise, we find comfort in knowing that they too shall pass. Impermanence doesn't mean detachment in a cold or indifferent sense. It invites us to love more deeply, knowing that nothing stays the same. Another secret embedded in Buddhist practice is the cultivation of compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves. So many people carry silent burdens of guilt, shame, and self-criticism. We judge ourselves harshly for not being good enough, smart enough, successful enough. But Buddhist teachings emphasize that just like others, we too deserve kindness. The practice of loving-kindness meditation is a gentle yet powerful antidote to the harshness of modern life. When we silently repeat phrases like, "May I be safe," "May I be happy," "May I be at ease," we begin to rewrite the inner narratives of unworthiness. As we extend these wishes to others, even those who've hurt us, we tap into the boundless capacity of the human heart. Compassion melts walls. It dissolves separation. It reminds us that we're all walking similar paths, yearning for love, safety, and peace. In addition to mindfulness and compassion, Buddhism also introduces the concept of non-attachment. Often misunderstood, non-attachment doesn't mean we stop caring or become emotionless. It means we stop clinging. We let go of the need to control outcomes, people, and experiences. When we release our grip, we make space for peace. Non-attachment allows us to love without possessing, to strive without obsessing, and to live without fearing loss. It frees us from the endless cycle of craving and disappointment. In practice, this might look like doing your best at work, but not tying your worth to a promotion. It might mean loving someone deeply, but not trying to change them. It might mean enjoying pleasures without becoming addicted to them. With non-attachment, we taste the freedom of simply being, without needing things to be different. One of the most practical and overlooked Buddhist teachings is the awareness of suffering, not to dwell in misery, but to understand it as a universal experience. The First Noble Truth teaches that suffering is a part of life. This isn't pessimism, it's honesty. When we stop resisting suffering, we stop feeling like victims. We see that everyone struggles in some way, and this realization can birth empathy. Suffering becomes less of a punishment and more of a teacher. It shows us what matters. It humbles us. It invites us to grow. When we sit with our pain instead of numbing it, we begin to hear its wisdom. And from that place, healing becomes possible, not through escape, but through presence. The Buddhist path is also about simplicity. In a consumerist world that equates happiness with more, Buddhism teaches the joy of less. This doesn't mean we renounce everything and live in caves. It means we start questioning what truly brings us joy. We begin to simplify not just our physical spaces, but our mental and emotional landscapes. We learn to find contentment not in accumulation, but in appreciation. A warm cup of tea, a meaningful conversation, a quiet evening. These become sources of deep fulfillment. Simplicity creates room for clarity. It helps us distinguish between needs and wants, between fleeting pleasure and lasting peace. Another hidden treasure in Buddhist teachings is the power of right intention. Our thoughts shape our actions, and our actions shape our destiny. Buddhism encourages us to cultivate intentions rooted in kindness, wisdom, and truth. When we act from a place of love instead of fear, we align ourselves with a greater harmony. We start noticing how small choices, what we say, how we listen, where we focus our energy, can ripple out and shape our lives. Right intention isn't about perfection. It's about alignment. It's about living in integrity with our values. And the more we practice this, the more we trust ourselves. We develop a quiet inner confidence that doesn't need external validation. There's also a deep emphasis in Buddhism on letting go of ego. The ego isn't bad, but when it dominates, it distorts. It creates separation. It tells us we are superior or inferior. It thrives on comparison and fear. Buddhist practices help us see through the illusions of ego and reconnect with our true nature. A nature that is compassionate, spacious, and interconnected with all life. As ego softens, we experience more joy, more flow, more love. We stop taking things so personally. We laugh more easily. We forgive more freely. Life becomes less of a performance and more of a dance. Buddhism also offers guidance on how to deal with difficult emotions. Anger, jealousy, fear, they're all part of being human. But instead of suppressing or acting on them, we're taught to observe them with curiosity and care. We become aware of how emotions arise, how they pass, and what they're trying to teach us. This awareness gives us choice. We can choose to breathe instead of react. We can choose to understand instead of judge. Over time, we develop emotional resilience, not because we avoid challenges, but because we meet them with presence. In essence, Buddhist secrets are not about escaping life. They're about embracing it fully, with open eyes and an open heart. They help us wake up from the trance of busyness and fear and remember who we truly are. They remind us that peace is not something we chase, but something we uncover, like a hidden jewel within. And perhaps the greatest secret of all is this: everything you seek is already within you. The joy, the love, the freedom, it's all there, waiting to be remembered. So as you walk through your day, pause, breathe, feel the ground beneath your feet, look into someone's eyes, smile at a stranger, notice the sky, Listen to your heartbeat. In these simple acts, you're practicing Buddhism, not as a religion, but as a way of being. And in doing so, you're not just changing how you see life. You're changing how you live it.